Hey guys, it's Danielle over at DIYDanielle.com, and today as part of our 30-day gift giving series, we're going to be talking how to make some simple pillowcases. Today I'm going to be working with a standard size pillowcase, and but you can tailor this for a larger pillowcase such as a king size pillowcase as well. The reason these make such great gifts is because they're fun to customize. So everybody has their plain pillowcases that go with their pillows, but a lot of times, especially kids, might like to have something in fabric that they would enjoy. For example, today I'm going to be working with some spaceship fabric because my sons were putting together a spaceship bedroom for them. But for my mother-in-law last year, I made her a pillowcase out of Maleficent fabric because that's a character she really likes, and I thought she would enjoy having that in her bedroom. Let's go get started and talk about our supply list. For supplies, we're going to need pretty much just your fabric and your sewing machine. Depending on whether you're using a sewing machine or a serger, or whether you have access to a serger, you may want to pick your fabric accordingly. For example, flannel fabric, which is what I'm working with today, tends to fray really easily. And where these get a lot of washing, you have to watch out for those. So it's better to be able to finish your edges. Now, last year when I did my knit fabric, I did serge it, but I could have just used a straight stitch on my sewing machine because the knit fabric will not fray. So there's a little bit of a difference between what you're working with. I think a fleece you'd probably be okay with a sewing machine as well. But again, if you're working with something that frays a lot, and you can tell when you start cutting it, if you see like little threads coming off, that means it's going to fray and you're going to want to finish those edges. So that means doing a zigzag stitch or serging it. Serging it is always going to be superior, I believe, just because it does a little bit better job. But you can kind of fake it with a zigzag a little bit. So that is really the only supply you're going to need. Yeah, thread, scissors, that sort of thing. But really you're just using your fabric. And I usually piece pieces together because sometimes fabric that I really like tends to be really expensive, and I don't want to use the whole thing on just a pillowcase. So what I'll do is I'll do a piece of the fabric I like, and then I will do a coordinating fabric that goes along with it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in the tutorial. Okay, let's move on, guys. Okay, so for the first piece that I did, I actually pieced some different pieces of fabric together to make the right size. For this one, I have a bigger cut of fabric, so what I did is I folded it right sides together. It is 20 inches tall, just as I wanted it to be. Made sure I measured it in all the different lengths, and I am going to cut this 36 inches long, or yes, wide, I guess, I don't know. Okay, so this is my other piece that I had pieced some gray, some space, and some black fabric together. I have that pinned right sides together, of course. Okay, so I'm going to use my serger. If you don't own a serger, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to sew a straight stitch around, and then you're going to want to zigzag the edges. The only exception to that is if you're using knit fabric or fleece, then you won't have to because they won't fray. I left one side open, and we'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so your next step is going to be to finish your edges around the opening of your pillow. And I'm going to serge, of course, because I have my serger. And I'm just going to serge all the way around. Okay, your next step is to turn over the edge of your fabric here. You're going to turn it over, so this is about 4 inches, and you want to iron this down. Once you iron it flat, you're going to go around and sew a straight stitch all the way around. And again, mine is serged. Hopefully at this point you've zigzagged yours, but if you have a flannel or a type of fabric that will fray and you haven't zigzagged this edge, you could just turn it over and sew like this instead. That way your edges aren't even showing. Okay guys, we're finished. I made 2 pillowcases. It didn't take me a terrible amount of time, but it's a lot faster if you use just one cut of fabric instead of piecing it together. So just for an example, this is the one I made for my son Godric, and I pieced together 3 different pieces of fabric because I didn't have a big enough cut of this fabric to do a whole piece. And I actually pieced together black, this, and then the gray. This is slightly bigger than I need, which may look like, okay, well, I would want to cut down my pattern a little, but if you're giving it for a gift for a kid, you may want to leave the extra length, because I found that pillowcases tend to come off in the hands of wiggly toddlers. So a little bit extra length might help keep the pillow from slipping out. So some of the standard pillowcases you see will actually just be a lot shorter, and again, we've had issues with them coming out all the time. So again, I had to piece all 3 of these together, so this was a little more time consuming. For my other pillowcase, I had quite a bit of flannel fabric, and this was not very expensive, so I just went with the whole piece. And it was a lot easier to cut this and to sew it. It was very, very fast because I only needed to do one thing. I didn't have to like piece them all together. And when I pieced the pieces for the other one together, not only was I sewing each piece right sides together, but then I was top stitching on top just to give a nice finished look. So again, that took a little bit more time, maybe like 10-15 minutes more, maybe. But really, they're a very quick project, and they're a lot of fun to give. My kids are pretty excited, and it'll match with their room now. So again, I hope you enjoyed this part of our gift series. I hope to see you again tomorrow. We've got some more great projects coming for you. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe here, and you can subscribe over at my my newsletter on my blog, DIYDanielle.com. And on the blog, I'm going to list supplies, and I will list the measurements again, so you don't have to listen over and get them. I don't know if I mentioned the exact measurements in my cutting instructions, but they'll be on the blog. Usually I put the cutting measurements there because it's really hard to be writing things down while you're watching a video. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye. Kidding. I made you a pillowcase that has outer space on it. See? Kaden, look.
Wow.
You like it?
Yeah.
Which one do you like better? Do you like this one or this one? Because one's going to be Gaga's. Which one do you want in your bed?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Somebody needed a bath. Did you need a bath?
No.
Rocky thinks so.